Good morning, guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. One of the things that I get asked a lot about and would like to just fill you guys in on my experience and how it went for me. Just because I know other moms want to take the leap for it, but they're just too nervous to do so and are afraid. So I just wanted to talk about my experience as a mom of two while in college for 2 years. Okay, so when I started the respiratory therapy program, I started it back in February of 2020. Elias was gonna turn 2 years old at the time, and Armani was like 3. Okay, I was saying Elias was 2, Armani was 3, and it took me a good 2 years to finally decide to go back to school. Because at the time, I only had Armani and I wanted to go back to school, but then I got pregnant with Elias and I had to hold it off for a little bit. So he was 1 year old when I decided to enroll into the program and finally take the leap for it. So the first few terms were very doable because it was all prereqs. It was at home on the computer on my own time. So I still worked at the hospital 12-hour shifts and tried to complete my prereqs while being a mom. So to me, what was hard for me while going to school is one, finding childcare. If you have the support system, it's doable. If you don't, I know a lot of colleges offer the help for childcare to help you out. There's so many help that you can get in college, and I think as a young mom, when you don't know, because I never looked into college, I never thought much into college. Like for me, my only goal was to finish high school, and then once I became a CNA, it was like, okay, this is it. But once I started, wanting to further my education, as a young mom, we don't look into these things because we don't think we're able to do it. But the school provides you with so many resources. I went to Concord Career College, and they provided people with childcare. Like they would help you find childcare. They would have these people come in and help you fill out an application where you could apply to get your childcare paid for, which is super nice. And as a college student, you're probably more than likely to get approved for the help because you're in school full time. So that was one big thing for me, was childcare. If you do have a spouse, what me and my husband did is I went to school during the day or worked during the day, and he was at night. So we would just flop the kids. So when I was going to school, he had them, and then when I was coming back home from school, he was going to work. So yes, it was kind of tough because it was like we hardly saw each other. It was like kind of like a drop off, like, okay, hand me the kids, bye, have a good day at work, see you tomorrow, we'll do this again tomorrow. So it was that way for 2 years, and honestly, like, it sounds kind of hard and something that you wouldn't want to do, but at the end of the day, you're furthering your education and it's worth it. Another thing I do run into with young moms wanting to go to school is that how will they be able to work while in school? Me personally, I only worked up until maybe, so let's see, my program was 18 months and I maybe worked 9 or 10 out of those months, and I was like part-time. So it is doable. I did have classmates who worked full-time. They went to school during the day and worked at night. And then I did have a classmate who kept her job part-time and then DoorDashed on the side, which she did that the entire time. And I mean, like, the entire time we were in school, and got her bills paid. I had another classmate who also did the night shift and then went to school during the day, and she did that the entire time, full-time, until we graduated. So, I mean, that whole job thing, I know it's kind of scary, but if you get FAFSA help, that helps out a lot as well with bills. And, you do have to sacrifice a lot of things when you want to go to school, like downgrade on your internet, downgrade on this, downgrade on that. I personally had to give up doing my nails and my eyelashes for a while. I didn't start doing my eyelashes until like maybe I had 6 months left of school, when I knew we could afford me doing all that stuff again, because I was about to graduate and I was close till the end. So you do have to sacrifice a lot of those things. I think if I was to work full time when I was in school, I would have worked the night shift and went to school during the day. Just because I feel like that's more doable for me. I did part-time and only worked 2 12s out of the week on my days off, and then went to school the other days of the week. A lot of programs, I don't know if they're Monday through Friday. My program changed every semester. So one semester for 3 months, I did have a Monday through Friday class. And you were still able to work. Like me, when I had a Monday through Friday class, I worked on Saturday and Sunday. And then once we switched over to our next term, it was like either Tuesday and Thursday and like Wednesday, or Wednesdays and Fridays. Like, you know, like it started getting a little bit doable as we progressed in the semester. I don't know if you aren't looking into the medical field. I don't know how those classes would, what's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, I just have like a doable. If those will be doable with working a job. But respiratory therapy school with Concord, it is doable to work and go to school. For me, I was just lazy and I didn't want to work full-time the entire time because I wanted to strictly focus on school. Okay, as I was saying, you know, this is typical mom thing as well that people are worried about, is the lack of study time. Like right now, I had to move locations, as you can see, because the boys follow me everywhere I go, even in the house. So another tip for that is I guess it's kind of hard because a lot of people are nervous to go back to school because of the support system that they do have. But honestly, if you have a friend or a family member or someone that could help you out with your kids for a couple minutes, hours, just for you to get the study time. So what I did was, when I needed to study, I would let my husband know, like, hey, I need to study. I have an exam tomorrow. And I would go to my room and I would let my boys know, hey, I'm going to study. I have homework. I need no distractions. And I would go to my room, I would lock the door, and that's where I would study. I would study in there and just study as much as I could. And on days that my husband wasn't there, I would have to call my aunt or call my mother-in-law, like, hey, would you mind taking the boys for a little bit, and so I can study. And my mother-in-law was very good about helping me out and taking the boys for a couple hours to hang out with her while I studied. The methods that I use, because, you know, as a mom, you have so many things running through your head, even just as a wife. You have so many things running through your head, like, I need to do this, I need to do this today, the house needs this done, the house needs that done, Armani has homework. You know, it was just constantly things are running through your head, and you think, how am I going to remember all these things when I have so much going on in my life? And the way I would do that was flashcards. Flashcards was my biggest friend, and Quizlet. I made my own Quizlets on topics of the exam, and that way I had them virtually on my phone and also on paper. So on paper is when the boys were chilling, calm, whatever, I would sit next to them on the couch and go through my flashcards. And when I was out on the go, or, you know, just the boys, you know, just outside with the boys or something, I had them on my phone with me as well, my Quizlet and my flashcards, and I would go through them over and over and over again. So I guess just really the goal and the biggest tip out of study time while being a mom is just always have your stuff on the go. Parks, take your Quizlet, take your notes on the go. Lunch dates on your phone while you're waiting for your food, you have it on the go. In the car, you have your Quizlet. You don't have to carry around your flashcard, so you have Quizlet on your phone. I mean, because our phones go with us everywhere, right? So the biggest tip for me is to create your Quizlets, your flashcards, and copy them on a Quizlet so you have them on paper and on your phone. Because on paper, obviously, you don't want to be on your phone while you're in class studying. So I would try to get to my class earlier than when class started, because I knew we take the exam in the morning. So I would study my flashcards before our exam. You know, you don't want to be on your phone, so that's why I have them on paper and on your phone. Another biggest thing for me was waking up early in the morning. But you know, like I said, we just have to remember it's only for temporary. It's not forever. And dropping off our kids that early is not forever, and leaving them is not forever. So I had to drive 1 hour and 30 minutes to school every day the first term, or every other day after my terms advanced. So 1 hour and 30 minutes was a long drive for me. I had to do that for those 18 months. And it was hard, but I mean, I am a big believer in a strong supporter on moms going back to school and getting their education, because I know we can do it. Like, I had so many moments in my life in those 18 months of school that I wanted to give up, and I wanted to just stop, because I felt like I wasn't in the boys' life enough, or I was just always busy, or I always was studying. Like, it felt like it was never going to end. And me, I'm just a strong believer of supporting young moms, or even just moms in general who want to go back to school, because it's hard out here, like being a mom and wanting to further your education. But at the end of the day, I would always remember my boys, I'm doing it when they're this young. That way, when they are older, I can attend their events and I can be there for them when they will actually remember that I was gone, you know. So that way, right now they're little, they don't even remember I was in school. Like, it just totally crosses, like, you know, it's just, I was never in school to them, basically. And that's what I kind of leaned back on when I wanted to give up. Like, I would think to myself, let me just give up and I'll come back when Elias is older and Armani is older and they're in school. But then at the end of the day, it wouldn't have made it easier, because I would still have to do drop-offs and pickups and homework. You know, it's like, no matter where in life you are, and if you put it off, it's not going to make it easier. It's going to be the same thing. So pushing it off till they were older was like something I wanted to do. But at the end of the day, I remember a nurse telling me she went to school when her kids were older because she thought it would be easier for her. But now that they are older and they remember she was in school, they'll give her grief about not being there for soccer games or not being there for school events because she was in school or she was so busy. And when you go when they're so young, they don't remember it. And I think that's just, my goal was for them not to feel like mom was never there. So I just say keep pushing, and I'm a super huge supporter on it. And I just know a lot of girls wanted to hear my perspective on how it was being in college while being a mom and working. And I am not going to sugarcoat it. It was hard. I cried a couple times during those few years I was in school. And I remember just sitting there and praying to God to help me get through this. And that's really all you need, is you need to pray, you need to believe in yourself, you need to keep pushing, and you just need to remember that it's not a permanent thing. It's temporary and it's going to be worth it. So if you guys have any questions on how I studied while I was taking care of my kids, or what programs I would recommend, or what program I would recommend for respiratory, because I know a lot of moms want to go into respiratory, and what schools I would recommend in order to have the availability to go to school, programs as well that you might have questions about, anything you might have a question about going back to school, or you just need to vent because you want to go back to school and want to talk to someone who's done it to make you feel better about the decision, and just to help you make the decision faster, because time goes by so fast, and the more time you lose, the harder it's going to get. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this little short video on how I made it through school and how it was for me. I hope to see you guys soon. I do have a couple more videos coming. I have a whole list of stuff that people have wanted me to speak about. So I will bring those to you soon. Thank you.